Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the start for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on some recent updates for Walking Dead, some new news items, ranging from the Andrew Lincoln comments on the Old Man Rick scene, as well as some updates in the Frank Darabont AMC lawsuit. And they're good. They're good. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants.
What?
Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants. October 8th. October 8th is the trailer release day. So I've been working on this week for you guys. It's really funny. You're going to love it a lot. It's a Sunday, so October 8th, 2 weeks before the premiere for The Walking Dead Season 8. So very exciting. Starting to get geared up now for The Walking Dead. Been doing the videos for Fear. Of course, we'll have the Fear videos tonight, but just a couple throughout the week. I don't want to bombard, release too many Fear videos because I know not that many people are into it. So, we do the usual review, predictions, maybe a couple Q&As a week. That's about it for Fear. The rest of it's going to be, Walking Dead and other shows. Plus, there's lots going to be airing soon with Gotham and all kinds of other stuff. So, lots of videos coming for you guys. And heads up for October 8th for the trailer. It's going to be fun. So, this one, independent.co.uk. Link will be in the description so you guys can check it out. And it's got a sort of giving his thoughts on from Andrew Lincoln on the Old Man Rick scene, or as I like to call it, the Old Man Rick scene. It's really just like, Rick wakes up, right, in the Season 8 trailer at the end, and everyone's like, well, what does it mean, this kind of thing. So we've kind of given our thoughts on it already, so we're not going to beat it to death, but he's going to give his thoughts on it in this article, so let's go over it. It says, although showrunner Scott Gimple originally revealed we wouldn't get a definitive answer in the premiere, which will also be the show's 100th episode, Lincoln told Entertainment Weekly it will become somewhat clearer after the October premiere. Then again, it may not be. It may be still is somewhat opaque. I think that's possibly all I can say on the matter. But he does add more to it as well. He says, my instinct was, what a great storytelling device. That was my instinct. I thought it was very interesting and also gives us an opportunity to do something else a little ahead of the game, which I think is very, very neat, he explained. He also confirmed the time jump, saying, it's a gray Rick. It's an older Rick. So by virtue of the fact that you see, that means that it's in the future. So as we thought, and it sounds like right here he's confirming for us that we're probably correct, most likely correct, that we will probably see the Old Man Rick scene in the episode 100 premiere for this season, and then they'll probably come back to it later. So it sounds like it's a flash forward out of chronological order scene, and that, it's from ahead of the time jump. Now, when that time jump comes in is to be debated. Is it going to be at the end of the season? I think that makes a lot of sense. Or would it even be pushed into season 9? I'm thinking what Greg Nicotero is doing with this is he's showing it to us in the premiere as an out of chronological order scene, something like we used to see a lot in Breaking Bad. They did a lot of these, and they really worked out great. And we do know that Greg Nicotero's kind of been playing with these ideas lately. He's been playing with the last few years, scenes like this that can kind of become out of order, and then you get to see it later. A good example would be what he did with the season 7 finale with Sasha, where you see a scene at the beginning, which you don't understand what it is at that time, but it's actually, spoiler warning, Sasha committing suicide, and then later on in the episode, it clicks and it makes sense. So in this one, it sounds to me like that's what they're doing with this scene, where they put it into the premiere and then it clicks and makes sense at the end of the season when we just do the time jump right at the very end or something like that, and it ties the whole season together, which is, similar in a lot of ways to what Greg Nicotero tried to do in the finale for season 7, kind of tying it into the start. But it sounds to me like he's probably honing his skills at this and probably getting better at it, and so I think we can expect to see him kind of have a little more finesse and put in these things that are questionable at first, that people don't understand, and then closing them up afterwards, really setting it up nicely and having a nice tie-in later on in future episodes. So that's good stuff. That's mostly what we thought it was going to be, and I just really like what Greg Nicotero is doing for the series for sure. I think if you compare Fear to the original Walking Dead, one of the big differences is you have Greg Nicotero so heavily, working on the original series. He's definitely one of the people that, we could say, just like Frank Darabont, Scott Gimple, these people, that without them, The Walking Dead would not be what we think of it today. So for sure, we got to give him credit where credit's due. He does an amazing job in the makeup and everything, and directing now as well too, and even adding in these story elements too, and just order and things like that can really have an effect on the viewer. So it's cool stuff. We'll do one question for today, and just really one. Kyle Kalopi says, "Hey Trev, Q&A. When Maggie's baby gets born, will there be a father to take care of the child? Like, will Maggie ever find somebody, or will she take care of her baby herself?" What are your thoughts on this one? So, somebody to replace Glenn. This idea, I don't think, is really a good idea, because we're right there with her. And if she was to kind of start dating somebody else or seeing somebody else so soon in the series, the fans would turn against her. So it's something where you can't really do it. You can't really have. You could have the community and people like Daryl earlier on, right, little ass kicker and stuff, taking care of babies and things like that. So you can have the community sort of, raise the child. You can have people help, and she's leading the Hilltop, and then you have somebody from the Hilltop kind of be there, and Jesus and the others involved, and the support network, right, that she's going to have, obviously, for raising baby Herschel. But I do not see them replacing Glenn or having her date anybody else anytime soon, even if people make advances on her, which, they will, because it's her. Still, you're not going to have her do that, because then she instantly becomes, I would say fans would get upset at her, because they'd feel like she's cheating on him, and she's cheating on the audience too, because we were right there with them all the way through. You guys get what I'm saying. And now for the fun stuff, some of the updates with how the Frank Darabont lawsuit is going. So the link will be in the description for you guys from Deadline.com. This drama is almost as good as like Better Call Saul or something, or almost as good as The Walking Dead is as itself. It's just seeing what happens with this lawsuit. Just because we know the people involved, we got to see their work, and now we're getting to see them do battle in court rather than in zombie apocalypse. Okay, so it says, was The Walking Dead executive producer Frank Darabont merely being, they call him executive producer, but he was also showrunner too of the first, season and a half, merely being an artiste when he threatened co-workers with bodily harm? Did AMC boost Darabont's profit participation this summer as a stunt to distract from the more significant amounts the former showrunner claims he is owed? So this morning's argument in a Manhattan courtroom, both for and against AMC's request to get the lawsuit filed by Darabont and CAA booted, wandered down some interesting byways as lawyers from both sides explored in arcane detail the intricacies of licensing fees, most favored nations agreements, and the burning question of what exactly is the difference between AMC Studios and AMC Network. The latter distinction should be crucial in whether Justice Aline Branston agrees with Darabont's argument that affiliate transaction fees important to determining license fees and ultimately Frank Darabont's profit participation should apply to the two AMC entities. AMC says AMC Studios didn't exist at the time of Darabont's contract, and so those more potentially lucrative for Darabont and CAA affiliate transaction provisions don't apply. You get no credit for the Monopoly game, Frank. AMC attorney John V. Berlinski characterized the arguments made today by Darabont CAA attorney Jerry D. Bernstein that AMC's recent amended deal with The Walking Dead executive producer Greg Nicotero and others, see below, was a self-serving and desperate stunt made in anticipation of this hearing as faux outrage. The judge didn't seem entirely convinced by AMC's reasoning. You're very facile. Lawyers and they're smart, judges and they're smart, they're vocab, right? With your words, very good, she told Berlinski. She added, "You're trying to tell me AMC Network did everything but in reality, we know very, very well that it's not how the system works. According to AMC's attorneys, Darabont has already received $6.5 million in profit participation, and CAA about $6.3 million. AMC also spent a brief part of the morning session addressing the fired Darabont's claim that his pay or play agreement was violated when he didn't get all the money he was due for his abbreviated involvement in season 2. So the judge, or the point is, the judge responded, in this particular case, for apparently no known reason, his services were no longer required. He gets terminated. Therefore, he doesn't get paid for now being there on a full-time basis. In a sense, it's illogical. He was terminated, Your Honor, not arbitrarily at all, Saunders replied, adding that the grounds for Darabont's dismissal were based on significant problems in production, including profane emails sent to coworkers and executives. That is the artiste. The judge suggested waving her hand to simulate a sort of martinet flourish. That is the artistic person. Said Saunders, when Frank Darabont threatens to throw dead bodies out the door. That certainly is a creative issue on set. This is really funny, man. So then we get into some more details, and then it says here, incomparable given the lesser viewership of those series. So comparing Mad Men and Breaking Bad were incomparable to Walking Dead because of their viewership is nowhere even close, and merchandise and everything is not even close. Darabont attorney Dale Kinsella said a more appropriate comparison would be to the massively popular ER, right? Also debated were the specific modified adjusted gross receipt deals between AMC and other producers, including The Walking Dead's Greg Nicotero. AMC maintains those producers signed off on the same terms now disputed by Darabont, and some of which are suing now too. Berlinski repeatedly mentioned that only Steven Spielberg has merited more favorable terms. And then the judge says, if I hear Mr. Spielberg's name again, I'll hold you in contempt. She's getting pissed. So it sounds like she's getting pissed at AMC, which is this doesn't look good for AMC right now, from what the quoted judge's remarks in that, right? Following the hearing, AMC released the following statement to Deadline. We appreciate the opportunity to spend a day before Justice Branston defending against this attempt by Frank Darabont and CAA to rewrite their contracts through the courts. This lawsuit is an attempt to capitalize on success that came as a result of AMC taking a risk and greenlighting The Walking Dead after it was passed on by many other networks and AMC's successful management of the franchise long after Frank Darabont was gone from the show. We look forward to the court's ruling on our motion for summary judgment in this case. Frank Darabont and CAA are entitled to the millions they have already been paid and the tens of millions more they will make over time. It is not illegal, fair, nor appropriate for them to distort the contracts after the fact to gain what they are not entitled to. Oh man, so there's some more to it. You guys can go through, but from the looks of things right now, it really looks like the judge is kind of siding with Frank here, and eventually when the other lawsuit comes through as well too from the other people that are suing, Robert Kirkman and the others, as I did a video on that a little while ago, for what could be like $1 billion depending on how that whole thing goes. If the thing is if Frank wins a lawsuit and he goes through with it and it all works out for him and he gets paid more, whatever it is, any amount, then when they come in, the next judge is going to be like, okay, probably going to have to go the same way, because it'd be like if you're going to give it to one, then the other one's file, then you're not going to give it to them. You kind of have to, right? Because the other previous judge, and then if you don't do the same kind of thing, then you're kind of disagreeing with the prior judge who made a decision in this case. So really funny stuff. But But I love that the judge threatened to hold one of the AMC people in contempt for talking about Steven Spielberg or kind of comparing it. But the thing is, you can't disrespect Frank Darabont. I mean, he's the creator of The Shawshank Redemption. He's amazingly talented, of course, and without him, The Walking Dead TV series would have never gotten its start. So it's kind of messed up that they were able to kind of fire him, even though he said some stuff he shouldn't. He shouldn't have said some of that stuff. We can all agree that, right? He shouldn't have swore at people and talked about dead bodies and all this crazy stuff. But at the same time, by getting rid of him, then they kind of, it seems to me like they kind of pushed him out so they wouldn't have to, pay him, afterwards with the series and give him a percentage if he wasn't involved. It's just tough when it's the person who, is most responsible for starting the TV series to begin with. So you guys can comb through all the details if you want to see them. They're in that article from Deadline. But right now, it sounds to me like what we're reading is it's going pretty good for him. It looks like to me, because it looks like the judge getting frustrated with AMC and kind of the way they've set up this system. And they're probably like, it doesn't add up. Like, this doesn't make sense. You can't, allocate a certain fee, which is not real, to yourself, sell it to yourself, and then give them a portion of it being sold to yourself. So really interesting stuff for sure. Of course, when it finally gets the final ruling and everything, I'll let you guys know how it all turns out. But it just looks really funny. And, all in all, we hope that AMC doesn't go out of business or anything, because we want to see more Walking Dead. I personally like AMC. It's one of my favorite channels. I watch Better Call Saul. I watch Breaking Bad. Watch Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead. So I don't want AMC to go bankrupt or anything like that. But I do kind of wish that they would have kept Frank Darabont on going through. I really wonder what the series would be like if he would have stayed on all the way through, how that would have been different. Or at least maybe if not showrunner, he became like a producer at some point. If he was just involved still, first season was just so clean, the directing and everything that he did and all of that. He's just so talented that you can't help but think maybe it'd be even better if he was still involved. Maybe it'd be worse, but, you guys can write a comment below. Let me know what you think on what the series would be like if he was still involved. Would it be better or worse? And what your thoughts are on how this is going down. Write a prediction on what you think is going to happen and what you think he's going to get, if anything, or if he's going to lose the case. Right now, it's looking pretty good. So let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video today, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Bottom left to subscribe, and I'll see you guys back again tonight for the Fear videos. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.